Right, so before we get off, right, so I took a couple days. Right, so before we, firstly, this is covering the years that a Doctor was in. The 1 year that had an episode. The 1 year had a. The 1 year that had an episode. I'll get to the year that had a episode every month when we get there. So, we're going to from across 900. We're also going to be counting. By the way, regarding animations, reconstructions, and remakes, those aren't going to be counted. We're counting the original episodes that broadcast. By the way, regarding animations, reconstructions, and remakes, we're not counting those. We're going by the original episodes broadcasts. It should be for missing episodes. But we're going to have a. But I'll mention when episodes 1 to 6 of the store. But I'll mention when the every. I will be counting the infinite. Also, appearances of each Doc, especially considering what happened at the end of the reality war. Especially considering the ending of the reality war and the future of the series being up in the air at the moment. I will, and whilst I won't be counting them, Curse of the Fatal Death, Quintology, the five Curse of the Fatal Death, and Scream of the Shulker Doc. In which case, the Dalek movies, the Curse of the Fatal Death, and Shulker Doc, and Scream of the Shulker will be counted with those latter three. The Curse of Fatal Death. I will not be. Dimensions and times being counted because it is inside Sylvester McCoy's era. Individual parts of anime. The aforementioned individual parts of animated. Although I will be counting Scream. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave a link to the file, if I remember, on Google Drive for everybody to what. But this video will mostly be the big sum ups, and then you can, so that you can go and see all of the individual ratings. But this video will go through the main ones for each Doctor. And along with, and also, but in terms of every year having one episode, so as mentioned, I've done the document, and with as mentioned, if I remember to link the document, it will go through all of the individual listings for the months. But so 64 and 65 have at least one episode in those years. Well, actually, no, August doesn't have an episode in 65. So between 1963 and 1966. Therefore, throughout the first Doctor's tenure, he had an episode in at least 1 month of each year, 63, 64, and almost the whole year for 66. And the 2 months of that year that he didn't do were in 63. So technically, he's had an episode. If you put it as an average, it's not exactly like this, but if you do it as an average, it's basically an episode every month that he was the Doctor for. This isn't quite the case. There's a couple of zeros on the list for the individual months, but in terms of an average, that is basically at least one a month, so to speak, for his whole run. Meaning that he is one of the few Doctors to have. As for the second Doctor, he's practically fairly close. He also has an episode every month of the year at some point during his run of 1966 to 69. The first Doctor being, of course, 19. So the Second Doctor is pretty... Also, so the Second Doctor is on a similar level. For the months of 1967 to 68, only for July till October, and that... No, that's not quite right. With 11 that month. For October, including the 10th Planet Part 4, we have... So again, we pretty much have an episode a month throughout. Now, the reason these two Doctors have probably the most episode... season 5 started in August, funnily enough, with not season... So, Planet of Giants, Planet of Giants and Dalek Invasion of Earth, I believe, were season 1 productions, but moved to season 2. I could be wrong about that. Galaxy 4, and also an episode lost from Planet of Giants' production block, was then made into Mission to the Unknown. Those were season 2 productions when under Verity Lambert's producership, but then moved to start season 3. Season 3 had The Smugglers, that was moved to start season 4, and the 10th planet was added to be given to Hartnell as a final, as his final adventure. Season 4, I believe Tomb of the Cybermen was supposed to be the final one in that production block, but it was moved to start season 5. I'm not sure if Within Space, or I'm not sure which... I don't know if the Dominators was supposed to end season 5, or if that was always supposed to start season 6. Maybe by that point they decided, you know what, let's actually make the seasons we want. Maybe by that point they thought, you know, maybe we should make the stories we want to tell this season, and next season we tell the stories we want to tell that season, instead of doing extra stories and pushing that back. I'm not quite sure. By the time we got to season 6, season 7, we kind of fixed it. Well, apart from Terror of the Zygons being moved to season 13's opener, and Resurrection of the Daleks being moved from season 20 to 21, but that last one was due to a strike, so that one's forgiven. So, yeah. But speaking of season 7, moving into John Pertwee's run from the third of the... But speaking of the Third Doctor, moving on to... But speaking of season 7, and we have the show's first big release pattern, and which will be the case. So from this point onwards, till, or in the case of the Peter Davison run, twice weekly for a quarter of a, or in the case of the Peter Davison era, a quarter of a month. So in this case, so in January and in December we got and December and episodes 1 to 3 of the Time Meddler, not the Time Meddler, but going on to Tom Baker now. And the reason for April and May managing to squeeze in a couple of episodes is the fact of season 12 airing in a similar broadcast time to seasons 7, 8, 9, and 11. And the reason for season 12 and 11, but that one had started a little bit earlier than the other, or early to mid-spring. So in August of 70, so the months of January to, and that's because Logopolis was August. It is also worth noting that there are months that are, and we have another one where there are no episodes of Doctor Who from April 1981. What was that? And we've got another case where there was no episodes from April, but now we come into Tuesday and week when, so they doubled. They put the two. So Resurrection of the Daleks being a 4-parter was then edited to be 2-2. And from here, so across Peter Davison's tenure, 23, if including Logopolis in 1981. By the way, we're counting its full original, like, say, Warriors of the Deep's 4-part version. So, yeah. Yeah, so even though that have aired, so, like, there's like twice as many episodes in January 1984 as more, and so I mean, I don't know whether, well, I don't know if you could. So yeah, so depends on what you prefer. If you like 2 episodes a week, you're gonna love the Davison era. If you prefer episodes going on for roughly 26 weeks, then you probably prefer John Pertwee, Tom Baker runs. But the next broadcast change. So after that, the Sixth Doctor's first appearance. So that means winter into spring is covered for season 22. However, then after that, Doctor Who goes on an 18-month hiatus, and then comes back in the autumn of 1986. I think I should probably hold it for a minute there. So the series does return to Saturdays, but whilst this format of the episode. So overall, for Colin Baker's run during Colin Baker's run, there was 4 episodes in January 1985 to 86, and also for February 1984, and 9 episodes in March, 10 when including, and 10 episodes in March 1984 to 86, 10 if including The Caves of Androzani Part 4. I'll do that one more time. And for 10 if including The Caves of Androzani Part 4. We come back to September. We join season. The series returns in September 1986, and there are 4 episodes that month. There are 4 episodes in October 1980. We come back with September, and there are 4 episodes in 9. We come back to September, and for 1980, between the years 1984 and 9. During his run from March 16th to during his between. So 7 months of the year, at least one. So he had an episode in at least one. As mentioned, April through to August were the year. Although he would remain the incumbent Doctor until the 1996 TV movie airing on the. Although he would remain until. However, so before we get. The other 2 didn't do particularly well, but season 26 is probably the least watched season on overnight broadcasts. But the thing with everything but the thing with episodes from 2017 that got that low viewing figure, or those watching on iPlayer before the episode airs, in the case of seasons 1 and 2 of the Bad Wolf era, and it's not taking into account the 7-day and the 28-day catch-up. And because now we've got, whilst 1989, it was like, you watched the episode, and that was it. Like, so, with McCoy now back, and unlike Peter Davison's run, where it thrived in the weekday nights, McCoy's run, it suffered and paled. But unlike the Peter Davison era, where it benefited from being on a weekday, in September, which funny enough then means Silver Nemesis was supposed to be. It's also worth noting that I mentioned however, aside from Dimensions in Time aside from those two episodes, though, no other episode aired between January 1990 and April 1996. Only those two episodes in November 1993. However, adding May in takes us up to 6. Thank you for your. However, if you include May 1996, that takes it up to 6 of 12 months. So the 7th Doctor had at least one episode broadcast in 6 of the 12 months of the year between the 7th of the. I suppose maybe Search Out Space, which aired in late 1990, kind of counts. I think that was late 1990, but I'm not including it on this list. I'll give it an honourable mention. Honourable mention, Search Out Space from the Search Out series. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that was a autumn air date anyway. It could be August. I might be. It was around the time the season 27 was confirmed to be cancelled. If I find out the actual date, I'll put it in editing. He had one episode in 1996, aired on the 12th, and a further 13 days. Meaning so in terms of the 8th to the. So, one episode of the entire. It means the 8th Doctor has 2 stories. As mentioned previously, so for May, meaning he had meaning he had an episode in 4 months of that single year. Meaning he had 4 episodes in, aka the Tenant. That's Tenant with a T-E-N for 10. That's Tenant with a 10. Can't make a number pun there. Now, David Tennant, again. So, we have 2000. So, as well as the. So, we've got the. I'm also going to be including Born. So, January, there is. It's funny enough that we start the 10th Doctor's one run with it. There are no Doctor Who episodes airing in February during 2005 to April 2006 to 9 sees 12 episodes, which includes 1 and 2 episodes in October. November 2000. Again, I'm not including the 6-part version. So that's going to be the December. Matt Smith comes in and says, well, you wanted to cancel the show after David Tennant left, but then Stephen Moffat convinced you But then you were convinced otherwise, and you allowed Stephen Moffat and me to come in and take over. Okay, I'm kind of being a bit funny here now. Okay. The question is, can we do better? Can we do more than 9 months? Can we get back to the heights of Tom Baker? We won't get back to the heights of William Hartnell and Patrick Troughton, but can we get close enough to Tom Baker's record? But Tom Baker's and October 2010 to 13. And in October 2010 to 13, there's one. However, the 11th Doctor, like his predecessor, comes back for this This time Series 4 episodes 5 and 6, Death of the Doctor, both airing in October 2010. Taking the total of 11th Doctor episodes from 2010 to 13 to be 3. Making the total of... I don't think I said it right. In November 2010 to 13, there are 2 episodes. Yeah, I've accidentally put 2 down for November. I've actually put 1 down for November 2011. That's wrong. So we get... That's 10 months of the year. The pond... By the way. And someone's going to now come in and say to David Tennant, bring it on. And now the next Doctor is going to come over to David Tennant. Yes, it's everybody's favourite eyebrows Doctor, the 12th Doctor. His tenure run from 25th December 2013 to the 25th December 2017. He's got an exact 4-year start to end finish. He's got an exact he's got an exactly 4-year run. I'm going to start. So, first of all, the 12th Doctor had absolutely no episodes air in... There was no episode... There was also... So, the first episode... And for the years of 2000 and... I put 2014... So, for the years of 2015 to 17, from April to July, there are 3 episodes. 4 in May, 5 in... No. So for 2015 to 17, although I put on my list 14 to 17, but for 2000, which is wrong, I should have put there was no episode. That's wrong, I should have put 15 to 17. So for 2015 to 17, there are 3 episodes in all. Oh, fuck. Shut up, whoever that is. 4 in June, and this is one of our guys. We're back to the broadcast of... We're back to a similar broadcast time for series... We're back to a series 1 to... So I didn't mention these... I didn't mention these broadcast changes, but halfway through series 6, the second half was moved to the end of the summer through to autumn, or the start of December. And then you got a couple of episodes August and September, and then quite a few in October, November, and then you get quite a few in October, and then you come down to the... hang on. Then you get a couple of episodes in August, and then you get quite a few September to December, especially October. October was probably the highest number of episodes for the 12th Doctor. Especially October. October was the highest number of episodes for the 12th Doctor. Yeah. October especially had quite a few. Yeah. And then August to December and then August had a few, and then September to December had, and then September. In total, like the 10th Doctor, the 12th Doctor has a month for shit. Although that would be an extra one for November, though. It is also worth noting that this is the first Doctor 7, if I count Bond Life, and not counting any bonus episodes. And 2010 was the year with the most number of episodes since 1984. Then 2010 was the year with the most number of episodes since 1984. Shit. So 2010 was the year with the most number of episodes in a year. So when, to quote Billy Tracy from Fire Few Fans, when there was no... It is worth mentioning. I should also mention I am including the 12th Doctor's appearance in Class, and my October total includes that. He appears in the He appears in the first episode of Class, as well as 9 episodes of Doctor Who that air in October. I forgot to mention that when reading it out, because I think I wrote it a bit differently to the other one. However, the 12th Doctor did also appear in the first episode of Class that aired. However, the 12th Doctor did also appear on the However, the 12th Doctor. Oh, that's annoying. In October 2016, so that adds an. Oh, very annoying thing out there. I really hope that's from our extension, otherwise I'm going to be pissed. And runs through to the 22nd of October 2023. And her tenure runs till the 22nd of October 2023. Shit. But we'll start off her recordings with, and that's because whilst Doctors 10, 11, and 12 had all those Christmas specials, did I read December's? Yes, I did. Which is going to add to the New Year. So she has 8 episodes airing in January. It also helps that the fact. And if the series. It's also worth noting that Jodie's episodes now air on Sundays, apart from some of the specials. It's also worth noting, apart from some of the New Year specials, Jodie's episodes air on Sunday, which are Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday and Saturday for each episode. Friday for Revolution of, which is the biggest change to the broadcast of the revival, which is the revivals bit, where apart from most of the specials, they aired on Saturdays. Waters of Mars was a Sunday special, where the episodes of the series plus Planet of the Dead and the End of Time. No, it wasn't. Sarah Jane Adventures ones were Friday and Thursday for Series 3, and Monday and Tuesday for Series 4. And Class was a Saturday for those appearances. So, it is worth noting though, if Jodie's episode, it is worth noting that if Series 12 did air on a Saturday, for a month, so it's 2000, and for a month we do 2000. Jodie's Doctor regenerates and December it's 4. No. With only them appearing in so with Jodie, most of her episodes are season. Then so you sort of got that like 7 of the 12. Not broadcast anyway. The first one to broadcast technically was Dimensions in. I'm counting it, so I say that for the years, but I'm counting it, so I. Okay, so there is no. So the 14th Doctor appeared. So with no episode and Destination Scar and Destination Scarrow. Yeah, it's just the 360th anniversary specials in those two. To the first. And December had 3, including the Giggle, in 2023. And December 2023 had, sadly at time of recording, we have no word of. So, how many months of the shoot? So, in how many months of the year did he have episodes in that 17 to 18 month period? Well, across the years of 2023 to 25, he appeared in 4 months he had episodes in 4 months of a year in those 3-year periods. In that 7 yeah. Oh fuck. Those being April, May, June, and December of those respective years, and and finished on the last day of May. So plus the 2 Christmas. As mentioned, there has not been any, and as of September 2025, May is the last month, and as of September 2025, May 2025 is the only month to feature the Billy Piper 16. And even if it, counting his regeneration post, Fifth Doctor was nice and cozy and snug in the first half, or first over Doctors who were having them more across. It does mean May is got the most number of episodes in April. It does mean that May gets a good chunk of episodes for the first time since the Peter. But it does mean that since this spring model of episode airing broadcast kind of stopped with Series 6 Part 1, then. But it also, however, and was probably the biggest number of episodes in May since the end of the Series 1 to 5 and 6 Part 1 episode broadcast run structure, and was probably probably had the most number of episodes in May since Series 5's time. Actually, don't want to hear. Actually, I've got that bit. Coming in 6th place is the 7th Doctor with 6 months. The TV. Meanwhile, Colin Baker and Silverhair. Meanwhile, the 6th and 3rd. Crap. Meanwhile, the 6th. Oh, fuck me. It's only an hour. It wasn't even an hour. In fact, coming in 4th is the 12th and 10th. So it just means that the 8th Doctor will go up to. And I suppose it would be I suppose it would be David Tennant, and Pete. Coming in 3rd and the highest rated. Well, what can I say? Matt Smith, and that's probably because of the split. And again, this is probably due to the series is being split. Even in the years 1974 to 1981, sorry, every year between 1974 to 1981 had at least 1 month of that. However, it is worth noting that 1964 did have an episode in every single month of that particular calendar year. I think every single year after that maybe misses a month, at least, certainly for these Doctors. And also 1975 definitely misses 2 months out of the list. So there we go, that's the list. If you add on space and time, I know they would have to be counted, but if I was strictly cutting those off, then I suppose Matt Smith doesn't have a March story. If you don't count the spin-offs, David Tennant loses in October for 10th Doctor, but gains it back. But as the actor still has it for 14. And And there'd be a couple less episodes appearing in some of the months where these stories would have aired. I think the only Doctor that benefits is 12, because then that means he gets to equal with 11 instead of 10. But David Tennant is still equal with all of them. But actors-wise, Matt Smith then joins the David Tennant Peter Capaldi group instead. Video. And also but that's archive. But that's footage from Name of the Fugitive Doctor has 5 appearances across. Joe Martin's Fugitive Doctor makes 5 appearances between 2020 and 2025. Joe Martin's Fugitive Doctor appears on screen 5 times. In 2000, her first appearance being in Fugitive of the Doctor, an appearance in October 2022. Those being Fugitive of the in the years 2020 to 2022. Again, as a guest Doctor, this doesn't really affect the fact that she's only. So she has 5 months of. But again, in fact, I think she actually has more than 40. Onto the. If I double check my Hartnell list. Which is good, because according to my list of episodes airing in the William Hartnell era, August 1965 and August 1966 didn't have any episodes. The only August episodes to air were in 64 for the Hartnell years. The only Hartnell episodes to air in August were the only episodes in the Hartnell era to air in August were in 1964, and the next episodes to air in August would be in 1968. So for 2 of the 3 years that you didn't have a August episode in the mid-60s, you got Peter Cushing, Movie Doctor. So for 2 of the 3 years you didn't have August episodes air in the middle of the 60s, you did have the Peter Cushing Darling movies released. Even if they have more episodes. Like, Fatal Death is an 8. Like, Fatal Death is a quarter the length of Doctor and the Daleks and Daleks Invasion Earth 2150 AD. So, yeah, it's an 1/8 level of the length of the 2 films put together. And that's the full length version. Meaning he gets to join Paul McGann on the list of. At the bottom would be the movie and Fatal Death Doctors. At number 11, what would be number 11? What would be number 11 would be the movie and But what would be number 11 would be the movie and the Schalke. Not Schalke, that's 2. Then number 9. Number 8 would be the 4th. Number 8 would be the 5th, 9th, and 4th. And hang on. That's 1, 1, 2. Oh, no, it's only 1 position. So 10th. So on this, on an updated ranking, in 10th would be the movie and Fatal Death Doctors with 1 month each. Then in joint. I know it would be 11th. Yeah, it is. Hang on, I am right. So that's it from this video, or videos, because it's bloody long. Sorry about that. Thank goodness I didn't go into too much detail, actually. Then, thank goodness I didn't go into much more thorough detail and left it to the document. More videos. Right, that bit's for early on. This bit is for 7th Doctor. Little caveat. Okay. So as well as those, I think it's 15. Hang on, I'm going to stop there. Hello, Nick from the future again. Regarding Search Out Science, that episode aired... Hello, Nick from the future again. I mentioned I was going to count Search Out Science, the episode of Search Out... Sorry. If we extend it from 1987 to 1990 instead of... No. If we extend it from 1989 to 1990, means that he had 16 episodes air in the month of November. If we extend it from... I'm going to mention in bits that I recorded earlier that there was no episodes between January 1990 and May, well, so no episode between January to October 1990, December 1990 to October 1992, and December 1992 to, not 92, 93. So no episode would have aired, sorry, Dimensions in Time was 93 if I said 92. More on that in the... So, suffice to say, the 7th Doctor still has a month... So, with Search Out Space and Dimensions in Time adding to the tally of October... So, with Search Out Space and Dimensions in Time adding to the tally of November! Fuck's sake! So, the inclusion of Search Out Science didn't contradict my findings for the 7th Doctor's placement amongst all the Doctors that we'll get to later, nor the total month. This is, I will say, I realised I should have included the Doctor's meditation. The only prequel prologue episodes I'm going to be including in this list is, as well as the Doctor's meditation, Pond Life, the 5-part, not the 5, is Pond Life, the 1-part version, not the 5-part version, as mentioned, The Great Detective, The Night of the Doctor, and Bastard. That is it. And I suppose Born Again counts as a and I suppose Born Again counts as a prologue episode as well. Is it just those ones? Yeah. So the only prequel prologue episodes I will count will be Pond Life, the full 1-part, The Great Detective, or the season 9, or the series 9 prologue, or the Deep Breath prequel, or the Deep Breath prequel, or the season series. I want to say season 9. That's John Pertwee, or 7 seasons time in the future. Giving that month 3 episodes instead of just the first 2 episodes of series 9.
Okay.
Don't forget to click below to subscribe to the Whoniversals YouTube channel. Don't forget to click below to subscribe to the Twoniversals YouTube channel. Don't forget to click below to subscribe to the Nicholas Payne bonus content YouTube channel.